It was a report so predictable, it's making the Farmer's Almanac blush. This podcast is presented by Hoagland Farm. Contact Hoagland Farm at 952-491-1541 and get sirloin steaks, T-bone steaks, get a quarter beef, a quarter cow, and fill your stomachs and mouths up with the best rotationally grazed 100% grass-fed beef. 952-491-1541 and get 20% off your first order by mentioning the Minnesota Tim podcast. So this report that I said is so predictable, it's making the Farmer's Almanac blush when it's predicting the winter report for Minnesota. This year I'm going to predict snow.
Huh?
Really? The Farmer's Almanac is predicting snow in Minnesota this year? Are you kidding me? So there was a report. Apparently, J.J. McCarthy's 2024-2025 season is not over just yet. It's a report that you knew was going to come when you read about how long it takes to come back from meniscus repairs, about 4 to 6 months. And you look at how long the NFL season is, and if J.J. McCarthy's timeline is 4 months, well, you do the math, September, October, November, December. He could come back in December for the final few weeks of the season. So his season may not be over, but it is. Let me tell you a little something for you. J.J. McCarthy, although he could come back and get some valuable practice reps for the following season, he is not going to see the football field this year because he is missing valuable reps in preseason, valuable reps in joint practices, in training camp. He wasn't going to start week 1 anyways. But if he's now injured, he's certainly not going to come in, return to the practice field late November, early December, and play a week 15, week 16, or week 17 football game. It makes absolutely no sense from J.J. McCarthy's perspective, from the Minnesota Vikings organization's perspective. I don't care if Sam Darnold's even injured. He is not even going to start ahead of Nick Mullins if that circumstance happens. If he's seeing practice reps, if he's trying to get on the football field late in the season, he's not going to play because that would completely go against the Minnesota Vikings plan for him all offseason. They were going to be slowly incorporating him into the Minnesota Vikings lineup, onto the Minnesota Vikings field. So to incorporate him into the lineup late in the season goes against every single thing that the Minnesota Vikings organization has said all offseason. And the report was coming from Pro Football Talk. This is what he said. He said, the Vikings have yet to place J.J. McCarthy on injured reserve, which would indeed end his rookie season. If they wait to do it until after the 53-man rosters are set, he could potentially return later in the year. So everyone's kind of going crazy about this report. Darren Wolfson also said something on Score North. He said, they will technically need to put him on IR, which they haven't done yet. I mentioned Adrian Peterson's meniscus repair surgery in 2016, early to mid-September. He was back on the field in December. Now, I'm not suggesting J.J. McCarthy is going to play week 17 or week 18, but let's just wait and see. There is no wait and see. J.J. McCarthy is not going to see the field for the Minnesota Vikings this season. That's why they've slowly brought him along. And that's why they came out with the report and said he's out for the season. They wanted to eliminate any speculation that he could come back late in the year because it would make zero sense whatsoever. Like, I don't understand where people would get this idea that J.J. McCarthy could play. And I don't want to be like Mr. Certain all the time. You know, like, oh, I'm so certain about this, I'm so certain about that. But, like, there's certain things that I can be certain about. And this is one of those things that is a certainty. This isn't a guess. This isn't a wonder. This isn't an opinion. This is a guarantee. J.J. McCarthy is not playing in 2024-25, and he is not coming back from a meniscus repair at the end of this season to play in 1 or 2 games that are most likely meaningless. And even if they're not meaningless, they're certainly not going to take Sam Darnold out of the lineup after he put the Minnesota Vikings in playoff contention late in the season. So you throw out every single possibility of J.J. McCarthy trying to see the field, and none of them make sense. So it's not happening. I wish it would happen. It'd be fun. Maybe if it was in year 2 or year 3, it would probably happen. But year 1, when they're slowly bringing him along, no chance. It is not going to happen.